Hi guys. So for those of you that don't know, I am a small business owner. I have a law firm in North Carolina and I employ one person full time. And like many businesses across the country, I have struggled during this period of social distancing. So when I learned about the PPP program through the SBA, I immediately went online, read about it, filled out the SBA application, and contacted my bank so that I could apply for this loan. I was told by my bank at the time that they had not quite got their guidelines in place, but once they got everything in place, they would notify me and give me their application. I was notified by my bank and given the application that they created in response to these funds that were being made available to small business owners. And I completed that application and immediately turned it in, or I did what I thought was completing the application, let me say that, and turned it in. And I was notified by my point person that the application was not complete and would not be considered until it was completed. And along with that email, I was given a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are like a foreign language to me. It's basically like me giving my clients the North Carolina sentencing guidelines saying, okay, here you go. Good luck with trying to figure out what sentence you're going to get when we go in front of the judge. So despite that, I looked at the spreadsheet, filled out what I thought was the portion that I needed to fill out, completely missed the third tab about documentation, and returned the completed portion to my bank and said via email, if there is anything else that I need to provide, please let me know. I never heard from my point person again. Although they claim they called, I never heard from them again. I did not get an email saying, Tonza, contact us so we could talk about this. I did not get an email saying, Tonza, you need to provide documentation. I didn't get a call on my cell phone, even though that was the way we had been communicating up until that point. Nothing. So taking my 20-year relationship with this bank for granted, I thought everything was okay when I didn't hear anything. And after about 2 weeks, I decided I probably need to follow up and see what's going on with this loan. So the first lesson in this is, despite your relationship with your bank, you need to stay on top of things and consistently follow up to make sure everything is in order when you're applying for a loan. That's the first lesson. So after 2 weeks, I contact my bank and say, I just want to follow up on my loan application. And at that time, I'm told by the vice president that, oh, your loan wasn't wasn't processed because it was incomplete. I was flabbergasted. I was upset. I was confused. And I explained all of this to her. I wanted to understand why no one at the very least would contact me back and say, your application is still incomplete and these are the things that we need. Of course, she took the position that they tried to contact me, which was absolutely untrue, and basically said, it's not our problem that your application was incomplete. And my response to that was, after 20 years, I thought we had built enough of a relationship that I could rely on my bank to assist me with getting through this process. And I apologize if I took that relationship for granted, but that was how I went into this process. Because I've banked with you all for so long, certainly I can rely on you to help me get through this process. So the vice president's response to my being upset was basically, she didn't have time for it. She had been so busy processing other loans, getting loans done, and she just didn't want to be bothered with the fact that I was upset, I was rattled, I was worried about the state of my business. She just didn't want to be bothered. At one point during the conversation, because I was trying to understand what was missing, I did not understand. And although we got to the point where I understood that they were looking for payroll documentation, and that was under the third tab on the spreadsheet, at one point during the conversation, she got so agitated with me that she blew her breath, laughed, and was like, "Oh my God." And I just had to pause for a moment and said, "Is this how you treat people that have banked with you for 20 years? Realizing I was going to get nowhere with her, and just realizing how disrespectful she was in this situation, I ended up working directly with the regional manager following my conversation with her. But I wanted to share this experience with you because I've been hearing a lot about how all of the funds were administered. The first round of funds were administered that were given by the government. And I wanted to say to you all that we need to be mindful not only of our relationships, our intimate relationships and our friendships and our relationships with other people, but we need to be mindful of our relationships with institutions like our banks. If we're giving them our money and allowing them to use it to run their institution, and you have a long relationship with them, then you should be given a certain level of respect in dealings such as this one. And I believe that if you're not given that respect, you need to think about changing the institution that you're banking with. I never in a million years would have thought that my bank would treat me the way that they did. This was a learning experience for me and made me take a step back and realize I can't take anything for granted when it comes to business. And it also made me take a step back and realize my money did not matter to them at all. My 20 years of deposits in their bank meant absolutely nothing to them. And so I need to find an institution that will appreciate what I bring to the table. Hope you guys have a good day. Love ya. Bye.